Well, I reckon I better get started on, let's work on this bike. I don't know how in the world I'm gonna even get this thing to fit. Well, take off the muffler, take off the gas tank, chop this thing all up, and it still might not fit. Well, there ain't no use in complaining about it. Might as well get it done. Oh, hi there. It's me, Cornbread.
Have you seen Blue?
Nah, I'm just kidding. I ain't Steve. But welcome to another episode of What Can Cornbread Screw Up Today? Well, this episode is going to be filled with lots of chopping, lots of fabricating, and lots of me not knowing what I'm doing. So come along for this reckless journey to see how much we can tear up on this episode of Cornbread and Crap Boxes. Linda! Welcome to the channel. Went ahead and took off the motor, but this motor right here you can buy from Go Power Sports. It's $99. It comes with the motor, it comes with the clutch. Here's the chain right here that it comes with, and it comes with this throttle cable right here and this tool. Not sure what it does, but we'll figure it out. Now I bought this throttle housing grip separately because I knew I was going to need it, because the old one, you know, it worked off electricity, so it had wires running down to the motor, and then off the motor the wires ran to the battery and up to the switch, and just a bunch of hoopla of wires going everywhere. I couldn't keep the batteries charged, so he couldn't really ride it, and this switch didn't work half the time, and it just was not practical. I would just rather him have something that he could just pull a pull cord and be able to just go down the road. And if something was to happen with it, it would be either spark related or carburetor issues, or the motor is just gone. Now what I'm going to have to do to this frame is I'm going to have to cut it right there, and I'm going to have to cut it right there. Hopefully it doesn't mess with the structural integrity of this too much, but if it does, I'll go back and, you know, put something in place of it. Probably, you know, keep that, maybe try to bend it and reuse it and try to go at it from a different angle. I know it's going to take away from it some, but I don't feel like it's going to take away from it so much that it's just going to bow on them and just, you know, break into pieces. He only weighs like 50 pounds, and, you know, when he gets older and gets bigger, he can always take that motor off of that thing and put it on like a bigger Coleman and, you know, spice it up, or maybe get like maybe get one of those Predator 212s or Tillotson 212s, or I don't know, just whatever motor that they make that makes more power than this one. But that's later on down the road. I'm going to go ahead and get to work on this thing and see if I can't get it, you know, cut up and stripped down. And just like that, we got all them pieces out that we didn't need. And now, since we got the frame, you know, pretty much the way it needs to be in order to see if the motor will fit, I'm going to bring the motor over here, and I'm going to start taking the muffler and the gas tank off of it. Now the motor will have to sit like this right here. Get that thing to stand up. So I'm thinking, once we get the tank off, and then once we get the big huge muffler off, I'm thinking everything else will be able to fit and slide in there. 8mm bolts, get this shield off. Man, if a man had some power tools, that would really help. Might have to spend some money and get a few more. Now, I'm a big fan of balling on a budget, and so far I like these, you know, Hercules power tools. You can get them in brushless and Harbor Freight It carries a wide variety. I'd like to get a 3/8 impact, get a 1/2 inch, you know, high torque impact. Basically, there's a number of tools that I would get if I was over there and if I had an unlimited amount of money to spend in that store. What are you, a 10? Nope. Should have known better. 12? Nope. Should have known better. 14? Nope. Let me guess. Yeah. Had to be the one that I didn't pick first. Dang. What'd they do? That thing on there. Ah, gosh, mighty. Ever torqued that one? Boy. They were stout. What else is held on there by that? Oh, I have to take it all out? I reckon so. Step right up. Come on in. If you'd like to take the grand tour of a lonely shop, I have no one to talk to. I have plenty of things I can sell you, but the things that are wrong with it I won't tell you. Things I know will chill you to the bone. Nice muffler. Could probably use... Oops. Oh yeah. It's gonna look good, sound good. It's just gonna be too good. Go. That's on there. Looks pretty good if I do have to say so myself. What do we got to do here? What in the world would they put such a small fuel line on this thing? There we go. Okay, there's the tape. Too bad a person couldn't fit it back there. A man might be able to get it to work somehow. I don't know how, but we'll figure out something. All right, here we go. Moment of truth. Oh no, that ain't good. That ain't good at all. Let's see if I can go from the other way. Here we go. Okay. It's gonna be tight, but I might can do it. Well, that don't look like it's gonna fit at all. Back to the drawing board. So this is the problem I'm having. Right here, where this angle was, I thought I was going to be able to keep it, but I might have to cut it right here, and then cut it right up there, and then, you know, weld it back, put a tube, maybe leave a bend right there, and then, you know, cut this off, and then just put a piece of straight pipe right there, and then weld it on both sides, because this ain't going to work. And then it's not allowing it to come up and over this part. See, if I could get this valve cover inside of here, I would be doing good. Another issue that I'm having is that the motor mount, this plate is going to sit taller than this frame right here. So I'm going to have to cut this lip off and that lip off on that side. That's what I planned on doing anyway, because I really want to have my adjustment and everything. Another issue I feel like I'm going to have is once I get this motor in here, to be able to push it forward enough so that way that the sprocket don't end up, you know, hitting the motor or anything or being too close, and that way the chain doesn't hit the engine mount itself. I got a lot of work ahead of me, but I'm going to get working on this thing, and I'm going to get back with y'all. Well, guys, I said I didn't want to take away from the structural... Well, guys, I said I didn't want to take away from the structural integrity of this frame, but I think I did. But just think of it this way. This is going to allow me to be able to put that plate in, weld it where I want it to, get the motor in, and then adjust this however I need, you know, to see fit, so that way it'll work. Let's see how that motor fits in there now. All right, so this is where I'm sitting at. I'm gonna have to move the motor way over to this side, because if you couldn't tell, I have the clutch, well, basically, I would call backwards, but it fit that way, and it would allow me to put the chain on the inside right here, because this is where the sprocket's gonna sit. And I think it's gonna line up okay if I move the engine mount as far over as possible as I can. I also want to come back, you know, as far as I can this way, so that way I'll have enough room for him to still be able to use the foot pegs. It's going to be tight, but I think I can do it, especially if I take, you know, top part where the seat goes and just bend it a little bit to where I can fit this underneath here. And then maybe take these long pieces and, you know, cut them to about the exact size and make them the same on each side, however long they need to be. But I think it's coming along good. You know, just taking this one step at a time. Once I get the motor on there and I get all that, then I can worry about, you know, later on hooking up the fuel and, you know, messing with all that other junk. But we're getting it done one step at a time, and I'm gonna get to work on this thing, and I'll see you fellas in a little bit. Well, guys, I got the engine mount plate, you know, just tacked on here. I put one tack here, and I had to go from the back side and put a tack underneath there. But it's on there. It ain't going nowhere. And don't worry, made sure it was all lined up, made sure everything was going to fit before I even welded this thing down. And the reason why I tacked it is so that way I can put this motor on here and make sure everything's aligned again. It's a little warm right now, so I'm not going to touch it. This is probably all that I'm going to go ahead and do today. I'm going to come back down here and get started on this thing hot and heavy tomorrow morning and get a whole lot more work done. I'm thinking by tomorrow I can get the rest of this welded up, and after I get it welded up, I can put that motor on there, get it bolted down, get the chain lined up, and, you know, we'll really be on a rock and roll after that, because this was the, you know, the biggest time and consuming process. There is one problem I found. The exhaust is going to be in the way if I decide to put, you know, a piece of the old metal from here to stabilize this on both sides. So I don't know what I'm going to do there. I don't know if I'm going to cut this off, you know, flat and even and then come back here with it, or what I'm going to do. I did have to bend this up in order for the motor to fit properly, but I'm going to stick that motor on here and we're going to see what we got before I go. Alright, that plate's probably still a little hot. That'll be alright. Motor's sitting a little wobbly on there. That's alright. I'll put a washer underneath there if I have to. Let me get the chain right quick. So I'm not a professional at this, and this is just something that I'm winging. I'm gonna bring y'all over here. That right there is the alignment, and that's not with putting any bolts in the motor. You see it lines up with that hole, and it lines up with these holes up here. I can move this forward. I believe I'm gonna have to, because it's gonna be so close to that tire right there. And I do have fenders for these things, but unfortunately I cut out a lot of the old bracketry for it, so I might have to figure out and end up doing something. The motor is going to sit, you know, a little bit to one side, but I don't think it's going to bother anything. But yeah, I think we made some pretty good progress today on getting a little mini bike project underway, and tomorrow I'll get back with y'all and we'll see if we can't get a little more done. Well guys, I figured I'd show you what I got going on here. Been doing a little bit of work today, and I want to show you how far I've got on progress. So I got the engine mount pretty much, you know, welded up, got it exactly where I want it to be. It don't look the straightest on this bike, but, you know, I probably haven't got everything square, but the chain lines up, and that's all that matters, and the wheel looks like it's going straight, so everything's good there. I welded it right here, welded it over there, welded it right there, and right here, and I secured it a little bit more over on that side, and I don't think it's going anywhere. And I think this is what I got up as far as the back goes. I know it's not going to look pretty, but I'm going to cut that off and that off. I'm going to push this forward. I'm going to cut this tube right here at an angle and get it welded up right here. And as soon as I get it angled on both sides, I'll tack weld it on the bottom with the wheel on, because everything's pretty much aligned up right now with the wheel on. So I want to make sure that it stays that way. So get it tack welded there, and then push this forward close to where those spots are. I don't know if it's going to be exact, but I'm going to try my best. And then as soon as I get that tack welded, I can take the wheel and tire off and finish welding everything up. And then as far as welding goes, I don't think I'm going to have to do much anymore right now. I do know that the motor is going to sit closer to this side, so I'm probably going to have to put an extension out on this foot peg, because pretty much the side of the motor takes up all the space that you can to rest your foot on there. I don't really know, you know, what I'm going to do there, you know, for that. I wish, honestly, if I could just fit it on the motor while it's underneath there and just leave it the way it is. I might go back and try it, since I had to raise this part up a little bit. And I think I've already told y'all this is the exhaust tube. The way it is now, it is going to be hitting this side of the frame. Now, since I got this scooched in and it's not going to be right there, it might not be a problem. And I might can bend it over a little bit. But I don't know. We're just going to have to see after I get this welded up. But other than that, that's pretty much all I have right now. And I reckon it's about time to get back to working. It's not perfect, but as long as it does the job, it's all that matters. And it is a tiny bit crooked from back here, but as long as the axle's straight and the motor's straight, I don't think it's going to bother it too much. And just look at all these perfect booger welds that I've done. Man, that looks gorgeous, don't it? Real good. But don't worry, we'll buff out those scratches. I mean, I'm sure that it's nothing that a little Rust-Oleum can't cover anyway. It covers rust, why can't it cover booger welds? And now, I just need to see how this motor is going to sit on there again and see how this exhaust is going to hit all this junk. Well, might have lucked up there. The little bit that I lost might have made up for it. I think so. Because it's going to sit about right there. And I am not going to be able to make that tank fit in here. So I'm going to have to probably run this line. Probably get some new line and run it back here. And do something back here with it, because the way the seat is and the way the steering is, there's probably no way that I'm going to be able to get all that to work. As far as that is concerned, I think it's going pretty good. I do have to say so myself. It's looking good, looking good. Now I noticed another thing that I'm going to have to do when I get the chain on is I'm going to have to cut me a notch out in this motor plate, and hopefully it doesn't mess with it too much structurally. I don't think it's going to, because I'm probably only going to have to cut a notch out this big, because, you know, the chain and where the wheel is, it's going to be hit. So as long as I can go up so far without it taking out, you know, too much of the integrity, I should be fine. But you can't tell me that it don't at least look cool. And now, before I can go any further, I'm gonna have to go get some hardware, get a bolt, not quite as long as this, but you know, the same size and diameter, and probably have to get some washers and some locking nuts to go along with it. And as soon as I get that, I could probably come back, bolt down this engine, put this wheel and tire on, along with the sprocket and the rotor, and then see about where I'm going to have to cut out a hole for the chain, get it lined up. Once I get everything lined up, then I can, you know, see about, you know, where other things has got to go, as far as like the grip, the throttle grip. And I have this chain guard. I don't know if it's going to work on this application, but I would love to. So that way it would be, you know, a little bit more safer from the chain. See what I'm going to do with this tank, and I might go ahead and pick up some hardware for it too. Just, you know, maybe see what size I need. I'll probably take that with me just in case, because I have that one piece of angle iron that I wasn't able to fit on Genesis go-kart. Just wouldn't work, but that one piece was enough. And maybe I can go back here and maybe drill some holes in the angle iron and then weld the angle iron to here. And then after I get it welded, take the tank and bolt it to the piece of angle iron, so that way the tank sits like this right here, because the bike is pretty much level from this point. Just drill some holes and then add the hardware to it. I don't think it would go anywhere, to be quite honest. I don't think I'd have to stabilize it back here. I can run the fuel line, I can run the vent hose. I got to pick up some of that too. So now this motor is a little bit wobbly, but I've noticed that one of the holes that the engine bolts down to on the engine plate is actually being up a little bit. That could have been my doings with, you know, dragging this thing out and setting it down on the ground, just not being easy with it. But it could have came that way. You know, it's not that bad of a fix. I can take it and I can bend it back down. We're getting everything rolling, getting everything going. We're getting, one step closer to getting this thing running and seeing how it's going to do. I really think that it's going to hold up to his weight. I don't think that's going anywhere. I welded it a lot. You know, there were some gaps and I had to go and tack weld, and then I went back over them, and I'm going to try to grind them down, make them a little bit better before I spray this thing. I wasn't planning on painting this, but now I'm going to have to with all the cutting and welding that I had to do. This side does sit, you know, a little bit taller than this side, and there's probably, you know, crooked or a little bit off, but hey, that don't matter. Just as long as it works, and just as long as I can make it look, you know, decent, I think he's going to enjoy it, and it'll be something that, you know, he ain't going to worry about, you know, the blemishes and everything like that. I mean, it's not going to a mini bike show. I don't even know if they have anything like that. Yeah, I think that's enough rambling. I'm going to go to the store, pick up some hardware, and pick up the things that I need, and I'll get back to you. Smooth as butter. So, we're back from the hardware store. I did not pick up any fuel line. I forgot to. I picked up this. Had some things I had to do, and then spent Easter with the wife and the family. You know, that's important. But even more important, I remembered Easter for what it was and who it was about. That's right, Jesus Christ. I had a good Easter. I hope y'all did too. I'm going to show you, a little bit what I've got going on here. I've been working on this thing. I finally got this wheel on here. The brake, you know, it rubs a little bit, but I had to, rig that thing in a way to where I didn't like it, but it works. So, I'm going to show you. See? Stops real good. Might, not be the best setup, but as long as it stops, that's all that matters. I went ahead and cut a hole out in my engine plate, and I've been over here going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and about half the time that's what takes the longest. And I'm about ready to mount the motor up and leave it on here for a while, so that way I can get that chain run. After I get that chain run and everything there, I'm going to see if I can get that chain guard to work. I'm going to bolt up the clutch on the motor, just get everything ready, so that way I can test it out, test the motor out, because I haven't even started it yet, so I don't even know if anything's wrong with it. I got me some bolts. I think I'm just going to bolt that piece of angle iron up here, just bolt it straight through, and then drill me 2 more holes in the angle iron, so that way I could fit my tank on here. And after I get my tank on here, then I can run my fuel line and my vent line, so that'll be took care of. As long as I get that fuel line and everything, get it hooked up, and put some oil in that motor, we can test this baby out. Now, whenever he turns to the right, that cable, later on, I might have to go get him a longer one. But it kind of stretches, but it don't stop it or nothing. So I believe what I'm going to do is maybe throw one zip tie up there, so that way it ain't, messing with the chain or the clutch or anything like that. See, I can get it probably to fit up here. And as long as I can do that, I'll be fine. And other than that, besides putting the front wheel on and actually testing this thing out, I think that's going to do her, except for painting and cleaning this thing up. But as I always say, that's enough of running my yapper. Let's get to it. I think I'm going to put the washer underneath of it. So I think his bolt's got enough to ride on up top, so I'll probably do the washers on the bottom. Should have thought about that before I started putting it on, but that's how it goes. Dadgummit. Well, he stayed down there this time. See if I can still slide her. Oh, too tight. What's wrong with you? Always happens. You daggone piece of junk. Get on there. Well, which way are you going? God bless America. I need me one of them impacts. There we go. Get the speed up. Come on. Come on. Come on. Oh, don't do that. Why are you going to do that? Why would you do that? You piece of junk. I ain't got long enough fingers for this. Do all that just to put a washer on the bottom. What's wrong with me? Should have just left it the way it was. Get on there. Thread. 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 There you go. There you go. You darn right you better listen to me. I'll knock your noggin. Here we go with this again. Why do I do things the hard way? Time to flip it over and get the other two. Hey. Well, ah! Piece of junk. Stay. Lord have mercy. Now this thing's cockeyed. Well, what am I going to do? This thing's really testing my patience. Well, what did I do with my toes? Oh, of course. Well, what's the holdup? What in the world is going on there? Don't tell me. It's stripping. Are you kidding? Oh my gosh. Can anything else go wrong? Well, I mean, work! Yup, that's what it did. You devil! Gosh dog it. What'd you do that for? What in the world? Come on now. All I'm asking is for you to cooperate. Get out of there. Break. I want you to. Break. Yeah, that's what I want you to do. Get out of there. Stupid thing. Why even make something like that? But it ain't even going to work. Hopefully this one don't do it. Now if it does, I'm going to be highly upset. Let's just go slow with it. Not crank it, you know? Take it easy. Taking it easy. Taking it easy. I know you can't see what I'm doing. Trust me, you don't want to. It would aggravate you too. Thank you, Jesus. Loosen it up. Now, we got one more. And I'm just hoping and praying that it doesn't do like that other one did. Because if it does, I might take this whole thing and just throw it in the trash can. I think we might, uh-oh. Nope. Back it up. Back it up. Are you kidding me? Oh, wait, hold on. You might be all right. We're backing it up. We're backing it up. See what we got going on here. Okay. Okay. Let's go through up there again. Come on now. I am a man of conscience. and sorrow. I've seen trouble all my days. Yep, it's going to break. I just know it. I just know it. It's been last time I buy my bolts at Tractor Supply. Gosh dang, stay on there. What in the world? Please, just break, 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 break. Yep, what it did. Pile of junk. Oops. I didn't buy no more. This is the only ones that I bought, and I guess I should have bought some extra, but I wouldn't think that brand new hardware would. I ain't even gonna think about it. That was the easiest one. That looks like the kind of hardware that Harbor Freight sells. Can't beat their stuff. Some of it's cheap, I understand, but some of it's all right. Don't want it all the way back like that. Just for the fact that everything's going to rub up against the wheel and tire. I think that'll be fine right there. Put this on. Where did I put our chain? Where'd the chain go? Where'd the chain at? Where you hiding at, you devil? A butter knife doing in the floor. Oh. If it's a snake, it'll bit me. Let's check our alignment. Make sure we're still good. Make sure that hole that I cut is big enough. I think our alignment's all right. That's how everything's fitting, so I think we're going to be good there. Got enough clearance here. Everything clearing over here. Got this brake line run over top of the motor. Honestly might, you know, zip tight to one of these tubes and just leave it loose enough to, so that way it'll have some give. But I'm gonna get on the Googles and see if I can't figure out how to shorten one of these chains and put a master link in, because I ain't never did that before. And once I get that done, I'll get back with y'all. Good morning, fellers. Did you drink your coffee this morning? Are you ready to hear a Minibike run for the first time? Well, hold on to your lug nuts. It's time for an overhaul. Now, introducing the Little Hog. To be honest, I'm quite nervous because, you know, the switch has got to work, and I went ahead and put oil in it, but I hadn't put gas in it just yet. I guess I'm going to do that on camera. So that way y'all can see my failure, or failures, if this thing starts leaking. Fuel is off, it's not on. We're going to leave it that way for now. We're going to start pouring. That ought to be enough. See if she's going to start. Well, I guess so. It was almost full. Small tanks. Okay. Fuel on. Whoop. Ah, scare somebody, don't you? Well, it's a good so far. I don't see any leaks other than what residual I spilled. Well, I guess it's time putting off the inevitable and just see if this thing will run. Switch on. Okay. Choke's on. All right. Here we go. Okay. Okay. switch back. Maybe I got it backwards. Whoa. Whoa. Oh, that's what it was. Switches backwards. Come on. Okay. Turn it to run. Okay, what happened there? This thing sounds good. I think he's going to be happy with it. Hold on. There we go. Yep, that's all I had. The switch was backwards. That's it. Well, guys, kind of proud of myself on this one. Kind of, you know, patting myself on the back because I've never did anything like this before. Kind of went out of my comfort zone on doing it, but it just, you know, shows that anybody could do anything like this. All you need is a few tools. You might not get it right the first time, and I definitely messed up a lot of things on this one, but I'm kind of proud of it, you know. Now, I believe this is going to about do it for the end of the video. I appreciate you guys watching, sticking around, and coming along with me for the journey of this thing. No, you're not going to be able to see me paint it. But I'm going to tell you, last time when I painted that go-kart with them rattle cans, that was just a whole process. And it took me, I'm going to say a whole week in just painting and preparation and spraying that thing. Because I'm already going to have to take everything back off this bike that I just put on. So what I'm going to do is y'all are going to still be able to see it, because I'm going to be coming out with another video surprising my daughter and my son with what I've done for them. And I know they'll love it, especially him. This thing is loud and it sounds good. Can't imagine what this thing would run like with that governor off. But I'm going to guess right now with the wheel and tire combo that it's got, it's probably going to only run about 10 miles an hour, just my guess. If I was to take the governor off, I'd say it'd probably hit 20. Just the way the gearing, and like I said, the wheel and tire combo. Working on this thing, it was a little bit of headache at times, and I did get mad at a few moments, but now that the thing is running and I can actually see it, I'm just, you know, blown away at what a person can do just by, you know, setting their mind to something. Still have to figure out something with the brake system because I only have one bolt holding it on that one side. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a plate and I'm going to bolt it to the other side so that way it stays steady and don't move. The way the tank is on there, I don't think you'll have a problem with that as long as you ain't riding no passengers, which I don't think you will. And I'm going to see if I can try to get that chain card to fit somehow on this thing so that way he won't have to worry about his leg being caught in it. But I don't know if I'm going to be able to fashion it. So it might just have to be the way it is. And I might just have to tell him to, you know, watch for it. He's got the foot peg on this side completely out to where he can set his foot on it. So I don't think it's going to bother anything. The only thing that I feel like is going to bother is the motor sticking out so much on this side. But before you go, we need to see if this thing will at least do a burnout. So I'm going to get it started one last time, and we're gonna send her off with a good old-fashioned tire smoking Dale Earnhardt burnout. Maybe we'll do him proud. I highly doubt it though. Well, it'll do one. Oh! Well, guys, I figure this is about the end of the video. I certainly do appreciate y'all watching and sticking around for this journey of me fabricating this thing and getting it all put together. Tune in next time and you'll actually get to see my son and my daughter see these things for the first time and how excited they are. Appreciate y'all watching. Make sure y'all subscribe if you haven't. Like it, share this video, comment if you see me doing something right, see me doing something wrong, or if you just want to help me out, or if you just want to say something bad. I don't care. But anyways, we'll see y'all fellers later. All right, now. Come on. Oh, it's got to be on off. Gotta get used to it. Let's ride.